What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunched Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury. Explanation time, people. Explanation time. Now, I have sources, a strong source, that informed me that Deontay Wilder and his decision not to say or speak on anything concerning the Glovegate or any of the accusations that he had against Tyson Fury is because there is somewhat of a gag order, okay? And that's not too far off the beaten path because remember, Tyson Fury himself, before we even knew that he was fighting Deontay Wilder, right before he said, hey, it may be a chance of me and Wilder going at it for the third time. What did he say? He said that, hey, there is a certain gag order and he's not limited to talk about it. So what I'll do, I'll let you guys listen to that for just a few seconds. And here we go. Now, that's what I'm talking about, okay? So the sources told me the reason why Deontay Wilder didn't want to mention it is because it was a gag order. And I think it's a little more than that. I think if you look at the comments that Shelly Finkel made in regards to, hey, I wouldn't have said that, okay, about what he thought or what he felt. You know, but at the end of the day, he was mad, he was upset, and that's how he felt. So he did say how he feels, but I think at the end of the day, honestly, there's a gag order, and I think that the reason why I think he was advised not to say anything about the Glovegate, okay, based on what Shelly Finkel said, or any of that stuff, because I don't think that it would have been the thing to do at the time. But of course, rest assured, again, my source, no names, told me that, not I heard, told me that there is somewhat of a gag order. Now, what else I know more than that? No, I don't know too much more than that because they're keeping it real hush-hush. And then my thing is, why now? That's my only question. Why now? And because you still, if there was a gag order, though, okay, this is what I was told. So I'm just really questioning, okay, if there's a gag order, then why wasn't the confiscated or why wasn't the interviews confiscated like, let's say, like what Mark Tibbs went through when he mentioned something about Billy Joe and then MTK Global erased and they informed all of them to take that off all these different platforms that interviewed Mark Tibbs saying that same thing, like IFL TV, Seconds Out, you know, some bigger channels that you can't find it now. So if that was the case, you know, I believe maybe that they would have took that for what it was. However, now, there's more to this though, okay? My question to the source was, did it have anything to do with the accusations about the gag order? And in short, yes. So again, there's a lot of things that we don't know, but I think the reason for it, and it would explain why that shit took so long. If you think about it, why did it take so long for that particular court decision to be announced? They could have looked at that. Okay, it's valid. All right, it's still valid. Boom, you're fighting him. They didn't have to wait that long for that. That's my only problem with it. Because had that happened, you know, and what ended up happening, I think that, because I'm reading here, okay, so it's somewhat of a gag order. I'm not sure if it's like an official gag order, and I think that was the reason, like it's certain things that he couldn't say. You know, I don't think that that was something that he intended to do, because after all, he said he didn't want to say anything. The talking's done, but he gave a damn poem. So if you gave a damn poem, that means you could give away more information about how you felt about a guy allegedly cheating you. You know what I'm saying? So I think that there is more to it than we don't know. And more came out in the arbitration that, first of all, what we heard, obviously that's bullshit, because it wasn't for money. It was for a third fight. So what Bob or Frank or whatever was sending out, feeding us, I think that was all bullshit. It's either Bob Arum or Frank Warren didn't know, or they didn't want you to know, or anybody to really know about what was going on and what was said in that arbitration. So you have to remember, these were two phases. These were mediation and it was arbitration. Okay, so you want to get the facts from this type of stuff, because you don't want to go off your gut. You want to go off the sources that tell you what? Bars. So that explains why Deontay Wilder didn't talk a lot, or didn't really say anything besides the poem, because he knew once he did, the floodgates of questions were going to be answered of the things that he said. But here's the thing. My advice to Wilder, though, I know he's an emotional person. A lot of us get emotional. We make brash decisions when we are upset, because that didn't come out until Tyson Fury tried to jump ship. But I think you should learn, or Deontay Wilder, should learn to keep your mouth shut at the right times, if that makes sense. Because if you were going to do that, there would be no reason to have somewhat of a gag order if there was nothing said in the first fucking place. If he wouldn't have said anything, he wouldn't have had to be answering questions. See, you can tell someone that tells someone else. That's one thing. But unless it didn't come from you, nobody could say anything about anything. Right? So, but now that he did come out, he came on Brian Custer. He came on 78. He came on, I think, Fred Barbershop Conversations. But I think the last one, he didn't mention anything. And that's another thing. You didn't mention any of that stuff. You know, you said, well, you had no proof concerning Povetkin. I'm like, oh, the fuck did that come from? But, you know, if you read between the lines, you know. But anyhow, I do feel that Wilder jumped the gun and said some things that he shouldn't have said. That's why there's somewhat of a gag order now. And but I do want to hear more about what went on. And until we really find out, that's something that we'll always wonder and want to know. And I hope at some point, since Wilder already came out and said what he felt and thought and proclaimed and confessed, I think at the end of the day, at some point, he has to clear that up. That's only right to the people that he told that to, and he told that basically to the world. Okay? But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about this newfound information. I wanted to share it with you guys, to keep you guys on the up and up on what's actually going on based on my source. Tell me what you think. Please subscribe. And you guys been counterpunching. Peace.